So welcome to the webinar of the Sustainable Design School, BESIGN, the Sustainable Design School. I'm Inken, I'm the Director of International Academic Partnerships at the institution. And well, present here also is Maurice Larivière, who's one of the co-founders and the Dean of our institution. We are a private institution of higher education, officially recognized by the French government. And we are also part of a community of institutions of higher education, which is called University Côte d'Azur, which englobes as well the University of Nice and 13 other institutions. So the purpose of this webinar is to show you what we do, to go a little bit further into the education. What are you going to learn in the different years? And I know that, well, Abhishek, you are interested in our master degree, but I think definitely it's good for you to see what we study at our institution on the bachelor degree, so that you have an idea if there are things that you need to catch up or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the end, you will have time for questions and everything you need to know. That's really the best moment to ask at the end of the presentation. So I made this presentation actually by thinking about all the questions that I always get from students that want to apply at our institution. So this is actually a presentation which already kind of was thinking ahead of your possible questions. And all the photos I used in the presentations, they're all real photos on campus and recent photos, so that you have an idea about how the institution looks like, how our teachers are looking like, and so forth. So I start with this page, which is more about where we are located, because it's important to know where you're going to study, maybe. So this is Nice. You actually have the old harbor right here. Then you have the famous Promenade des Anglais and the airport at the end. And right after that, in the next bay, you have a small town called Cagnes-sur-Mer, which is really only 8 kilometers away from the center of Nice. And that's where we are. So we are right next to the sea as well. This is our campus building, which has been a former office building, and it's kind of second-hand used by us, which is also part of our philosophy, not to, you know, to rebuild, to do everything very new. So it's maybe not the most fancy place on earth, but it's ours, and we investigated. We have all our classrooms and offices on this level, and there's staff and teacher space up here, and in all the downstairs floor here we have a big conference hall that you see on the right side, which is also a space for exhibitions, for gatherings, for some courses that take place here where we need more space, like drawing and so forth. So this is literally 5 minutes away from the seaside, so like for lunch you could go to the sea, and the Mediterranean Sea is a bathable sea. It's maybe not the same as in every seas in the world, because others are more rough, but here you can really go swimming very easily. And it's also 5 minutes from the next train station. So many of our students, they actually live down here, downtown Nice, and they take the train in the morning, and it's a 10 minutes ride to our campus. In the back you see the Alps. That's not Photoshop, that's really how it is. It's an hour and a half to go up there to go skiing. All right, so we have two programs in our institutions. There's a bachelor degree and then followed up by a master degree. So the bachelor is in 3 years and the master degree in 2 years. So most of the students that enroll in our first year, they actually do the entire track until the end of the second master year. All the courses are in English. So that's very important here, because the idea for us is to allow international students to study at our institution in France. And we also want that our students are able to go abroad, and not only during their studies, but also as a professional designer, to discuss with international teams, to have a job in an international company, you know, not to be limited by France and by French language. So that's actually the idea. So of course, not everybody is extremely skillful at 18 to speak English. But if you, I mean, the human brain is made for, it has a lot of intelligent capacity. So actually, you'd be able to learn even more than just one other foreign language. Just an example, myself, when I was 18, I didn't speak English nor French. So I mean, it's something that really comes whenever you start having the need of it. So everything is in English. We have in our first bachelor year something that is really intensive. I call it the intensive onboarding. In French, there is a school system, education system that is called prépa, and that's really how it is in our institution. It's a year full of courses, of concept, of learning, of training. Very important to allow you actually to be more independent and to do more independently projects afterwards. That is really intensive. When we look at our first year students now, and we're in the beginning of February, I can tell that they're already not the same person anymore than they were in September, you know, because they learned so much. They really already did a big step towards being a professional designer. So that year is something that is where many things happen and where you will actually have a broad idea. What are the design tools? What are the design processes? And you will also have time to train yourself. It is also intensive because many of the design skills are related to practice. Because if you learn drawing or computer-related skills and so forth, it's not something that you can like kind of sit down and learn it in 3 hours and then you got it in your brain. It's something that needs repetition, that you need to do all the time to become skillful. So this really needs not to be underestimated, and to have in your mind that design is something impacting, let's say, time-wise. All right. So we come to the second bachelor year, and actually after this slide, I will spend a little moment on this slide, but after that I will show you more visuals and so forth of the different courses I'm just speaking about. So the second bachelor year, you still have fundamentals, but you will also start to take part in projects. Some of them are individual projects, some of them are group projects. In the third bachelor year, we start to have the proportion of projects more than the concept learning or the theory learning part. And you will even do your major project, which is actually the validation of your bachelor degree. So we are giving credits to our students, which is the European Credit Transfer System, ECTS. So it's 60 credits per year. I mentioned also the price on the left side. You have always per year, the price per year. And because it's important to know, that this is the tuition fee that you would need to pay. So there are two prices, because we have a European price, which is the first one, and a non-European price, which is the second one. Most of the European institutions have the same system, but they have a much bigger difference between the European and the non-European price. So this is part of our politics to say, yes, there has to be a difference, but we really kept it as small as possible, so that we can actually be attractive for international students. So this is the 3 years of bachelor degree. At the end, you will get your degree, which is called Assistant Designer in Sustainable Innovation. On this level, you're definitely able to design, but you will still be somebody who's executing, let's say, the innovation, brought upon from other people. That's why to be a full designer, and I think that's something that is worldwide the case, the studies is longer, so you would need to do a master degree after that. And in our master degree, in the first year, you would really focus on strategy and leadership skills, allowing you to be the person in the company that will actually have ideas, implement them, identify, for instance, processes and work on them, and be the person who does the proposals, right? And there's also leading a team, for instance. In the second master year, you will do your diploma project, and we really like it that you would do it in pairs, not individually, because it's just so much richer, and it's also a perfect moment to learn teamwork, and you know, to have to actually question yourself all the way through the second master year, and to learn this, you know, working with somebody, questioning yourself, reacting, changing, adapting, and so forth, which is a very, very important skill for a designer. So the master level degree is called Designer in Sustainable Innovation, and this degree has is registered as at the RNCP. That's the French registration for national professional certificates. Okay, so it's we have the highest level of this certification. In France, you have 2 official certifications for diplomas. This is one of them. The other one is called a visa, and this is in process. It's always a very long process to get these accreditations, but most important here is to know that we already have this one, and this one has international recognition. Right, so my last information on this slide is that you have the possibility to do an international exchange, either in the during your bachelor years, specifically in the 3rd year, or in the 1st year of the master degree. So later on, you will see a slide with the different partner institutions that we can offer. Of course, this means in international exchange means that we also receive students from these institutions, and we have, well, only if there's Corona crisis and something, of course we didn't have so much traveling going on, but usually we always have students from India, from China, from Latin America, from the Netherlands, from, well, many places, who come to our institution for 1 semester of exchange. Okay, I'll go a little bit further into the learning on bachelor degree first. So the bachelor, as I said, is called Assistant Designer in Sustainable Innovation, and of course the focus is on sustainability. So we have these 2 teachers who are Marianne Mensah and Christelle Simon, who are teaching the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So as a designer, or let's say many people who want to study design, who think design and sustainability, very often have this approach that the designer is producing products, and the product has to be recyclable and made out of recyclable material. Okay, for us, sustainable design and sustainable innovation is much more than that. We really focus on these 17 goals here. So where does this come from? The story of the Sustainable Development Goals is that the United Nations reckoned that sustainability is not just one subject. There are so many issues on the planet that are urgent to be approached and to be solved, to be worked on, that you could just not put it all under one name. You know, so they actually clarified, and they found a system of 17 different goals, who are indeed some related to consumption. Okay, others, as you see, number 12, but others are you know, like access to good quality to quality education, or zero hunger, no poverty, life below water, life on land, peace and justice, climate actions, clean water, all these things, or gender equality. Let's say they're much broader, and they're very important issues, and they're issues in the entire world. It's not only something that is specific in one country. I mean, in France, we have an issue of gender equality. You know, it's very short. So these are sustainability goals that are really important for all the countries, And they allow us as a designer to actually go further and to think of the ecological transition with a broader view and with a higher impact. Okay, so actually what I'm saying here is to open up your mind to how do we see sustainability and design. In your diploma project, we would definitely like you to look at these 17 goals to find the one that actually is the stone in your shoe, and where you say, you know, I come from a country where access to clean water is really complicated, or where the water situation is complicated, and it's something that I just I can't bear, and I just want to work on that, right? So in number 6, of course, you cannot solve the entire water story in the world, but you need to focus down on something that is more concrete, and we will help you with that, and that will be the issue of your diploma. So this is, I'm explaining you already what is the goal of our education here, but it's a very important point for you at the beginning to understand how do we see sustainability through design. And design, designers are creative persons. For us, they are BESIGNers now, because that's the new name of our school. BESIGN in the sense of being rather than doing. So it's somebody who is actually incarnating all these different values and the will to work towards the ecological transition. So that's the profile of our students, people who are willing to be part of the ecological transition. We also have courses in climate change. Marianne is doing these courses in the first year, also on master level, actually, because some of you will join the institution in master level, so you will be able to have this course as well on master level. Very important. Marie is doing a course called Panorama of Design. So it's really, we are still here in the first year of bachelor level, but very interesting to actually see what design is like, or what do we call design. We have Isabel, who is doing drawing. So this, I don't know whose hands this is, but it's one of our students' hand. She does academic drawing, nude drawing as well. She's extremely skillful, even to help those of you who are maybe not able to draw yet, and to bring you up to the demanded level. We have Merta, who is going to work on colors, on watercolors, aquarelle, shadow drawing, light, and all these different types. So we're really in the domain of art here, knowing that art is not only a way of expression, it's also something that enhances creativity. By drawing, or I mean even other ways of art, by doing music or whatever art you might do, your creativity really is enhanced because your brain works in a different way. So that's why designers, they like a lot to take the pencil and then start drawing instead of making calculations, right? If I compare with an engineer, let's say. It's also, of course, a way to illustrate your proposals. If you can draw something, you can show the picture, show different sides of the picture, put it into a scenery, into a story, and your clients or the people you're communicating with will better understand what you're talking about. So it's also a tool to actually sell your project and to convince people to realize it. So we have Jonathan and Philip, who are teaching sketching, rough, and storytelling. So it's a very specific, rough is a very fast drawing method used specifically by designers. It's a bit, let's say, drawing between technical drawing and artistic drawing. And storytelling, again, of course, very important also to know how to draw personas, so that you can again illustrate your processes or your product in the story. You know, how will the users actually be acting in the space or in the product or with the service that you actually developed. We have Cedric, who is teaching graphism. So this is a drawing but computer based. Also very important. You need graphism to illustrate your posters, but or your communication with the client as well. And this is also something where you need to be trendy and know how to do things in a very precise, very good way. This is Mae, and this photo was taken yesterday. She took a class to the Fondation Maid, which is just above Nice in Vence. So she did a field trip. She's teaching design culture and history, and of course, as well, a sustainable design culture and sustainable design history. You will also learn digital tools such as Photoshop, Adobe Suite, 3D modeling. On this slide, on the left side, you see the Photoshop illustration here, and I like this project a lot, which was a project with a company in Spain called Roca, and they produce bathrooms, so tubs and toilets and everything. So they made a competition, and a group of our students were taking part of this competition. And the issue was to imagine the bathroom of the future. And what I really like on this image is that the student, this is a shower. So a student actually recognized or realized that standing in the shower is maybe not the most sustainable thing to do, and also not very easy. I mean, I don't know how you do that, but when you're standing, how do you wash your feet and something that can be quite a challenge, right? So, and also there's a waste of water and all these things. So actually the student really came up with this shower where you're sitting, where the water is distributed in a different way. And maybe it's not this bathroom or this shower that's going to be produced all over the world. But the interesting thing here is that you actually have a complete different idea about what is showering. I mean, everybody in the world knows what a shower is. And some countries use it in a different way. So this student definitely had a look into how does shower work in Japan, how does it work in Africa, how does it work in all these different countries. And yeah, and he came up with this project that is really quite interesting. And when I saw this, I thought like, okay, this might be a more sustainable solution for showers, but how do you convince people to use this different shower, because everybody loves to take a shower. So this is something that is very important to understand, that as a sustainable designer, you need to be somebody who's able to convince, even away from things that people love to do, and propose something that has a value, that is nice to use, that is desirable. So that is a very important aspect of our education, that you are somebody who carries the values, but who has also the capacity to convince, and to speak about it, and to actually make the change, even with something that everybody loves, like showers. Okay, that was a little story for this bathroom. On the right side, you see 3D modeling that is SolidWorks, and actually, I don't know if that was Rhino or SolidWorks, but here again, important to know how to develop 3D models, again, because you can nicely make the models turn around, and the client, they'll be able to see how it looks like from all the different sides. But you can also, through 3D modeling, have a precise view on, how are these distances reacting? Is there a millimeter missing? Is the technique working of this model, for instance? So it's also to check back with the technical issues of the model. So here again, it has double sense to learn 3D modeling as well. Well, sure, expertise in materials. So here we are in our workshop. This is Michelle. Michelle is our teacher who's teaching materials and also mock-up making and prototyping. Here he is with a student, and you know, they're discussing about this is, I think, a model going to be made out of foam. Of course, it's important as well to know how different materials react together, to make a choice of the good materials, to identify materials, and so forth. So it's a major part in your education. So this is in our, again, with Michelle in our workshop. I choose these two slides because on the right side, you see a student is really working on the machines and, you know, making his model. On the left side, you see that was actually one of our summer courses. And the request was to create something actually poetic. So, you know, I don't really know what this is. But a mock-up, a model is also something where you know, start playing around and you do something more poetic, something, you know, it's, I mean, I don't know what it is. I think it looks nice. It looks kind of cute, and it's definitely showing, you know, the entire sphere of mock-up making between poetics and something extremely technical. Very broad and a very interesting time that you will pass in our workshop. So that was all in the first bachelor year. Many of these courses, you will have them as well in the second year. You keep on training on these courses. But as I said before, in the second year, we will start to raise the proportion of projects. So here is Grant Linscott, our academic director, and he has put in place monthly design challenges. You see some of the issues here around. So sometimes the question is sustainable clothing or semiology or recycling and so forth. So every student in the class does his individual work on a design challenge, you know, and of course there's guidance, but it's a nice way to start working on projects and to have your personal project that you can actually take into your portfolio. So this will happen to you in the second year. And also very important, in the first year, you will already be able to have a look in these partnership projects, but in the second year, you will start to be full speed on our partnership projects. So this is a bit, let's say, the spine or the NDA of our institution, our center courses, partnership projects, which are projects that last the entire semester. They take place every second week for 2 days, and with a kickoff in the beginning of the semester, intermediate meeting with the company in the middle of the semester, and the final presentation at the end of semester. So since our current semester is almost at the end, we will have our presentations next week. So what happens is that we have 4 to 5 companies every semester that come up to our institution with a question, with the problematic, and we create groups of 12 to 15 students that will work on that issue with the company. Of course, the entire work is taking place in our institution with one of the project coaches. So we have many more, but Pascal is like typically every year having one project. Marc as well, Vincent, Florian, they're, I mean, typically being coaches of these projects. So from the second year on, you will be full speed on part of one of these projects. So you will be able to make your choice. When the company comes for the kickoff, they will present themselves and then also the question that they actually bring up. And so you can select your company, and then you will be together with 12 or 15 students from all levels. You will have your specific role in your partnership project, and yeah, and really learn the entire process of design research, ideation, mock-up making, prototyping, presentation, and so forth. Very, very important. So what you need to understand here is that these projects will happen to you twice a year throughout your entire education until the end of Master 1. So in the first bachelor year, you will have a little bit more observation role, but still you will be observing. But in the you're already in the partnership project. So the first year, the second year, the third year, the fourth year. So 4 years, twice per year means that 8 times during your education, you will have run through one of these projects. 8 times. You will have worked one time with Decathlon, the next semester with Accenture, and so forth and so forth. So this is how actually our students get the professional skills of being a designer. This is how our students actually come to the work market, to the job market, with the strength of this experience and able to present, able to lead a team, able to adapt to a team, able to work with big international companies. Sometimes we're also working with cities. It's really different stakeholders, but it's the experience about how to speak with your clients. What is the vocabulary that you use? What are the presentation skills? What is expected from you? And and really start to have fun with doing this as well, because you need to like it. And doing this 8 times definitely takes the stress away from you and guides you towards having a good time being a designer. Okay, so if you have later on questions on these partnership projects, please go ahead, because this, as I said, a very, very important part of our education. This is, for instance, a picture we took last year from the, I think it's the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, who did a project with us. So you see the lady in the middle who's presenting, you know, the proposal that she's actually giving to our students. Yeah, 2 examples. Very often we work with Toyota. Toyota have their design studios in Sophia Antipolis, so it's not far away from Nice, from our campus. Here they came with a question, just to give you an example, how to facilitate mobility for senior people in rural areas, which is not only an issue in France, but in many, many other countries in the world. It's about how can you enable elder people to live in their homes, really, where they have lived their entire life, and not force them to live in cities where they have all the facilities. So the students, they came up with this little trolley that can roll by itself. There's an application to it. So of course there's product design to develop this trolley, but there's also here you need to have the technical skills to do the applications. Of course, there's also research phases. There were interviews in the research phases to come up with this project. There's the creation of different personas, because there's not just one senior person. They're not all the same, right? So there are different scenarios, and the final proposal always needs to reply to that. So this was a very interesting project. Another one that was how to produce energy in a Maasai village in Tanzania, again with Toyota. For that project, and that actually happens very often as well, is that we, within the project, we send a group of students to do to a field trip to the country in question. Now, in this time it was Tanzania. So here you can see Andy, there were 4 to 5 students together with a teacher traveling to Tanzania. They were actually staying for a week in the Maasai village to do their research. And yeah, so there's something very, very important. How do you create energy without having, of course, electricity there? Very interesting project as well. As I said, your skills of presentation are very essential for you in your future professional life. It's, very often as a designer, you either need to convince your superior directors or the leaders of your companies, for instance, unless you're working in your own agency. But very often you have to convince the leaders of your company or the clients, or you are participating in a concours or in a competition, and you try to be the best one so that you actually get the job. So it's extremely important to know, what is essential to say, how do you present, how you dress, how you speak, how you look at the people and so forth. So this is really part of our education to teach you that and to make you not only to teach it, but to give you that experience. So this is actually a presentation of the diploma project, Michelle and Margot at the end. So they were, they did this big mapping of in relation to their diploma project, and they actually used the entire wall to display what they've been thinking about. Right, we come to bachelor third year, of course, still partnership project going on, but also you start to go more into design thinking tasks. So there is very much a procedure of ideation, of re-questioning yourself, of team working as well, because design thinker is somebody who's not standing alone, but who's also doing a lot of conversation with other people. So here you have the left side, you have Grant, who's taking notes from what the students have been proposed here. So this is bachelor third year. In the third year still, you also have at the end the major project. That's what I told you. So this is, this is actually a major project on 3 pages. So that's also a competence to, be able to condense your work on 3 pages, let's say. But of course, I mean, there's months and months of work behind this, always with the phases of analysis, research, and then the proposal, technical parts, sustainability goals, and also different explanations. What is this product actually? Why is it desirable, right? And also look at the layout. It's very important to be able to use visuals, to use text, not too much, not too little. So it's everything on this page really shows what a professional designer needs to know. So this is bachelor third year. Grant is the let's say in charge of these major projects, and validating the major project actually delivers you the bachelor degree. We come to master first year. So now we are more into strategy and leadership skills. So I see that Melissa is also connected. Hi, Melissa. On the master level, I have 2 slides here with courses, but I mean, there are more than this, but I really took the ones that are more, let's say, typical for our master degree. So you have leadership skills such as entrepreneurship for creative industry, marketing and communication, project and team management. But you also have very design related courses in branding theory, user experience, innovative design, contextual research, basics of artificial intelligence. Well, these are the teachers who are doing this. Tim he's actually from Florida. Richard Andrews from Berkeley University, visiting each year for that course in entrepreneurship for creative industries. Valérie Salon is doing marketing communication, and so forth. On the second slide here, you see courses that are more related to design innovation, such as biomimicry methodology, design, futures, trends, and innovation, very important. Emmanuel is doing anthropology and social innovation. I see I have design for biodiversity twice. It's because I like it a lot. This is a course that we do together with 2 international partner institutions, one in Germany and one in the Netherlands. Actually, the entire class travels to the Netherlands for the kickoff of this project. And then we build groups with students from the 3 institutions. And at the final presentation always takes place in Nice, in our institutions. It's a project for biodiversity, which is called in the beginning non-human centered design. So it's designed for animals. Extremely interesting because working for animals, you can't question them. Of course, you can't, ask them questions and so forth. So it develops your observation skills in a very, very good way. And also we realized how many animals live with us. I mean, that we share the same planet. We're in this same space. How many animals even live in the cities, in what we say is our space? What does it mean, our space? So it's really a project that goes deep down into our identity. What is a human being, and what are we allowed? How are we allowed to use the planet and so forth? How do we share the resources? And finally, this project has a link to a smart city design, because a smart city respects animals, right? And is something that is meant for all living beings. So we are now in our 2nd year master degree. Laurent is the director of the 2nd year, of the final year, where you do your design project, your individual project. You also write a thesis, and you will do an internship at the end, an internship of 6 months. So here you see Gabriela, who's doing her project. She's doing it with another student, Stephanie, together. Sorry. So as I said, we really prefer that you do it in pair and not as an individual. And again, here to come back to my first slide, really, is the idea to have this approach of sustainability in a very broad way and through the eye of the 17 sustainability goals of the United Nations. So these projects are very, well, most of the time projects that are about the big issues of our planet. And issues, that are unbearable, really, I mean, access to clean water, or the situation of homeless people, for instance, or of refugees and so forth. All these subjects, I mean, it's unbearable. Nowhere in the world. I mean, it's not human. It's really hard. So the proposals of our students in their diploma projects, very often there's a lot of emotion to it. It definitely touches people, and it also makes all the difference between our institution and other schools, because that's our final vision of a sustainable designer, to be able to have an approach to the big questions of our planet. So you have Laurent, who's the leader of this project. And yeah, you do 6 months of internship at the end. We do provide internship positions. You might also want to come up with your own internship, but we are able to provide you a space. And yeah, I think I'm at the end of the presentation of what we do in the program. This is a slide about our international academic partnerships. 2 of them are missing here. I think there's Portugal and Netherlands missing. But these are the countries or the institutions where you can spend your international exchange semester. Obviously, you find this information on our website. Next week, we are welcoming 3 students from Chile. And actually, we have 3 students who also travel over there at the end of February. Employability. Of course, this must be a question of yours. 70% of our students are working in small, medium-sized or international companies, such as Cartier, Decathlon, of course, But 30% of them become entrepreneurs, which is the case actually here of Iris Roussel. She created a company called Osiris. And the story of this is actually a little bit sad, because no, not a little bit sad, it's very sad, because when she was a child, her mom was really sick, And as a child, she was suffering from the way the hospital actually was not able to cope with the family of the sick people. So it is really hard if you have your mom is sick, and as a child, I mean, it just doesn't work. Everybody focuses on the sick person, and maybe not in a very human way. So she said she wanted to improve the situation, to work on this, and that's what her company is about. And she employs today 6 persons, and is a wonderful, successful entrepreneur. And of course, you understand that her content, what she's proposing, is a big issue everywhere, right? In hospitals, not only in France, but really all over the place. Okay, so if you liked what I said, if you want to be part, if you want to become a designer, if you want to apply at the BESIGN school, BESIGN Sustainable Design School, sorry, this is the way to do it. You can go via our website. You need your CV, cover letter, your former diploma. We will invite you then to an application interview. And our criteria of selection are, of course, your motivation to be part of the ecological transition. But also you need to like art, you need to like English, you need to have to be curious, to have curiosity. This is my email address. Actually, right after the presentation, I will send you some links so that you can, some interesting links for you, and also my email address, so you can just copy it from the chat. We do give active support to you. So this is our team of Amandine, Greg, Aurélie, Alizé, and myself, who will give you active support for arrival, for administrative questions, for pedagogical support. We are working with Campus France, with Les Crous, with student residencies, with a bank, so insurances. So we will help you to get settled in France and to become a designer. Do you have any questions? This would be the moment for you. Don't hesitate to open your microphone and ask your questions.
If you want, you can ask to some students to come to give their point of view of the school. So I wait for a student.
That's nice. So yeah, exactly. I mean, I even like if at some point you can have a private discussion with one of our students. So if you want to do that, we are able to link you with somebody, and you know, you can speak over WhatsApp or whatever with one of our current students. That's definitely intelligent to do. I'll send you some links. I'll send you, hello, Melissa. You need to have the link of Campus France if you're not French, because that's where you do your visa process. I also have a link here with all the questions about COVID and so forth. What do you need to do, and you know, how does it work in France right now? I have 2 links about scholarships. I did too much speaking. Oh yeah, I have another link about the sustainability goals if you're not familiar with it, but you can check it here. What else? Our website here, which is new because we changed our identity from the SDS to BESIGN School. So this is the new link. If you are interested, if you want to enroll, this is the information sheet that you need to fill out. So Melissa, you did that already. Here's also, I'm sending you also a link if ever you want to have again an individual information session with me. You can book a meeting with me right here. can't, as I promised, I will send you my email address. Please, you find it on our website as well, okay? But don't hesitate to connect, or even through WhatsApp. Okay, so we have a student over there who would like to share her experience. But it's Holly. Hi, Holly.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, I'm fine. Thank you very much. Yeah. Just say who you are, in which level you're studying, and your little experience.
Okay. So I come from Jersey, the Channel Islands, so that's why I speak English, but I technically learned all of my English in France, in Brittany. When I was 18, I basically was already studying design, and I was already quite sensitive to like environmental issues and like social injustices, and so I kind of wanted to work on that. But it was pretty hard to actually find a school that specialized in these kind of specific topics. And so when I was looking on the internet, I found the Sustainable Design School, where I found that there was already like the topic of like the sustainable development. Now I've got my French words. And so yeah, I basically got attracted straight away and booked my flight and came down. And so I've been studying now for 4 years. I'm in my 4th year. So the first and second year was more about like having all the basics of like representation of your ideas and like sketching and all of these kind of things. So that was really nice on the terms of having like quality drawings and renders and all of these things. And then third year was more working on personal projects. So really working on how you see design, how you work on projects and do your like analysis and bring in your own personality inside of these projects. So that was very interesting to contribute to the portfolio. And then now in 4th year, it's a lot more about theory and understanding environmental issues and learning about all the methodologies of design and applying them to these projects. During these years, we also have partnerships, which I probably think you've talked about. But yeah, so these are very useful for like understanding what it's like in the professional world and yeah, getting to talk to clients, trying to also like go on the field and talk to people. So it really like gives you that opportunity to like get the feel of the real world. So that's about it for my experience, and I'm pretty happy with how like the vision of the school is. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I hope that was all right. I guess I spoke a bit fast, but yeah, I think that, yeah, definitely the school. Also, yeah, I would like to add that like it's a small school, and so you get to know lots of different people, lots of different like-minded people, and so that's very precious to like keep